let it
Okay, are
run.
we?
We are. We're live right now. We're just going to let this run a
Lovely.
little bit.
Hello, people. Hello, lovely
Hello!
people of the internet.
All the beautiful people and the one ugly one.
Exactly.
I'm
You're the more on the. You know
not
what? Never mind. Let's just keep on with the stream. Let's not start this on the shady note. How about that? Let's start nice and clean.
nice and clean. All right.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, it is I, the one, the only, the man with the plan, the Mazer. Every time I do one of these streams, Claire, I try to come up with a new introduction towards myself that has something to do with relevancy of the game I'm playing, and usually it just ends up on me with a weird rant.
You're weird anyway, Mason. So don't worry about this. And I'm the woman without any plan, Claire.
Hello, Claire. So this is a
Hi,
new
guys.
this is a new episode of Talky Tuesday that we're actually going to release on Tuesday. We're actually going to do this Tuesday,
We're
which is
actually streaming on Tuesday. Oh my goodness.
yep. We tried this last time, and I was just under the weather, so we recorded everything when we did God of War. And
Yes.
let me just share the link with a few people.
Don't
Uh,
worry, take your time. Just a little reminder, because I told you the last time, I haven't actually played a lot of weird games myself, because I am in fact poor, honey. So I never really had money to experiment with gaming. You know.
oh, weird games is what I live for. Anyone who watched my YouTube when we first started, the whole point of my YouTube channel originally was to showcase weird and unusual games that I collect.
Right. So well, I bet you have a lot of games to talk about.
Yes, I do. I got like three. I want to talk about at least three of them because this format is going to be shorter than my usual streams, just mostly due to time. Though this might change later, but I'll talk about that
Yeah.
in a little bit.
I really don't. 2 hours would be exhausting.
All right. All right. So just making a little participation thing.
All right. I'm just gonna check my list. Just see which of the games I put here I actually played.
Well, yeah. So weird games. Okay. So here's my thing. Here's how I got into weird games. Uh,
Okay, go on.
Yeah, so after I got a job back in like '98 or something, I forget my first job. That is when I really started collecting a bunch of games. I used to rent them all the time, but when I rented games, they were always like the very popular games. They were like Final Fantasies or Mortal
Yes.
Kombat. You rent what you know. So I got a job and I started collecting all these NES games, Super Nintendo games, things I've either heard of or they just looked interesting. And I was at a store near my college, and I found a game called Packy and Marlin, and it showed two elephants on the cover, and they were all having
Yes.
fun at summer camp, and it was dirt cheap. I was like, I've never heard of Packy and Marlin. None of my friends heard of Packy and Marlin, so I grabbed.
It reminds me of Pac-Man.
Well, I can see that. I can see where you're getting that, but I buy it, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It is a game where you're playing as
Whoa, what is happening?
it's my drum roll.
Okay, it's a demo.
It's a game where you play as diabetic elephants who go to diabetes camp but have all your insulin stolen by a bunch of rats.
What?
So you're
Are you serious?
I know, I'm 100% serious. I got home, I had my retro duo, I popped it in, and I was like, what the hell is this game? And yes, it's these apparently during the Super Nintendo era, there was a bunch of these health related video games trying to teach kids, hey Claus, um, trying to teach kids all these things about what not to do, like don't do drugs, don't smoke cigarettes. And a
Yeah,
surprising
80s were such a weird times for PSAs.
it
Man,
was, and it bled into the
was full of
90s,
PSAs.
and they made all these health games, and a lot of them revolved around, surprisingly enough, the freaking diabetes. So what's funny is, so you're playing as these elephants. I want to see if I can pull up an image for the stream. Um, so you play as these elephants, and you have to go around camp to find your medicine. And
Yes.
while you're looking for your medicine, you are also um, grabbing food. And if you grab the wrong food, you can actually go into a diabetic coma.
Oh no. This is so real though. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm speaking with Claire Claus. So this is the game title screen right here.
Hi, Claus.
This is Packy and Marlin right here, and it's a platforming video game. You know, you just wander around, and what's funny is you have to monitor the food intake, and it gives you this little it gives you like kind of this like little, I guess you could call it a menu of what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat.
Yes.
And
So,
yeah, and
so just a list of what you can and you cannot, because you will die of diabetes.
yeah, and that was the weirdest part of this is the fact that you can like overdose on the food. So if you look on the screen, you can see like you need bread, fruit, meat, milk, veggies, and I don't even know what the last one is, but yeah. And what's really funny is you have all the camp counselors who help you out, but no one's actually joining you in your fight to save your life.
Well, they're just selfish, cheap bastards then.
They are. They
Yes.
are. Well, like in the picture I just posted, there's a lion. He's a camp counselor. He's a lion, king of the animals, and you're just like
Yeah.
a 9-year-old elephant, and the lion's just like, ha ha ha! It's a real shame that you lost your insulin. Here, have a health icon. Good luck finding it. And I'm like, oh my god, are you serious?
I mean, it's the same kind of bullshit like Pokemon. Let's be serious here. When you turn 11 years old, your parents just kick you out of the house to look for all the Pokemon. How responsible is that?
go find Pokemon. Parents in video games suck. It's just simple as that. Parents in video games just straight up suck.
Yeah. It's worse with the parents in anime. They're just dead.
Yeah, they're dead or they're never home. I've seen so many anime where the main character just stays there. Like he lives at home. He's in like high school, but nobody lives with him. He just has his own apartment that he pays for somehow.
And somehow nobody's concerned about this.
Exactly. Um, yeah, so that's like one of the first games that introduced me to the weird games of the Super Nintendo. And after that, there's Captain Novolin, where you play as a superhero fighting diabetes. There's Bronchi, the Bronchiosaurus, where he has asthma and you're trying to prevent him from having asthma attacks. And I actually have a boxed version of Rex Ronan, where you're playing um, as a doctor who shrinks himself into a person's body so that they can shoot out cancer.
Like a literal cancer.
Yeah, you shrunk down. You get a giant laser gun and you walk through this guy's body shooting cancer and other deadly diseases. You know, because that's the cure for cancer. You just shrink your doctor down and he goes on a shooting rampage. Hello, cat.
I mean, that sounds reasonable. That sounds very reasonable.
It does, 100%. So that's what
Yes.
these health games, and I own all four of them on Super Nintendo, and I still collect them to this day. Those are the ones that really got me into these weird ass video games,
Mhm.
and then I've been collecting them ever since. And the list goes on and on. But what got you into weird games, or what weird games do you know of? Have you experienced, Claire?
Well, personally, I don't know. I have like a. It's as I said, I'm poor. Basically, I've been always poor, so I didn't really have like a chance to experiment with video games and got into. Oh my god, I know this one. I know this thing you're showing right now. I've seen PewDiePie play this.
The one with the fish?
Yes, the one with the fish. That was so freaking weird that you just have this little fish and you have to feed it and you can talk to it through some gamepad, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was
it's
like a
called
bot.
Seaman, and it's on Dreamcast.
Yes. And anyway, it's been weird, like period of my life when I was young because, as I said again, we were poor, and in people in Poland, most of the people in Poland were poor at the beginning of like 2000s and late 90s, so we didn't buy like original games at all. We were just going for like these electronic, but some students, uh, IT students were just selling like copies of the games that were pirated. So it was nothing. I don't think it was legal, but nobody cared. Like we are just going there with my grandparents. They were giving me such a bad influence. I don't even know. Uh, so we were just buying random games and didn't even know what we're buying. And somehow I didn't manage to get under like a weird game. Like the first weird game I got myself into was Home Alone for PlayStation 2.
Oh yeah, you brought that up when we were discussing like.
Yes. Actually, yeah, it's the same Home Alone that John Tron was talking about in one of his videos. It's weird because I think this Home Alone wasn't actually like released anywhere outside Europe. I don't know who made it, but it was just I don't know. It's like a little weird and bad, but when I was a kid back then, so I didn't mind. I just had something to take my mind off the reality, you know.
To be
So
honest,
basically, yeah,
oh no,
go on.
I saw that JonTron review, and to be honest, I
Mhm.
mean, it didn't look bad. It just was a weird concept of this being Home Alone. I bet you if this was not called Home Alone, people would have accepted it more.
No, it was called Home Alone.
No, no, I'm
We have
saying
Home Alone in Poland.
I'm saying
We just have Polish version.
if it was not Home Alone, if it was like a different game but with the same gameplay, people would be like, "Oh, this is a cute little game." Like it's like uh, zombies ate my neighbors style type
Yes,
of
but
gameplay.
I think they did that just because they wanted, just because the name, just because people see that, oh, that's Home Alone. I know that. I want to try that.
Exactly. They sold it for the name. That's the big thing.
Yeah, basically like it's basically an arcade game. There's literally no story whatsoever. You just go into the game, you just choose a stage, and then your character, you have like four characters, which there's Kevin, and then three other kids you have no fucking clue about because they were never in any of the movies. And then you're just thrown right into there. And uh what did you have to do there? I think you were just supposed to like go around the house. It was like a huge ass labyrinth, and you were supposed to at the same time like run away from the yeah, you had to run away from the thieves and then just to lock the doors and windows so they can't get into that. And just look at these graphics. It's like mid 2000s. Just look at this. This is
it's
horrible.
it's pretty rough. I mean, the PS2 was able to pull out something much better. I mean, the models are at least
Yes.
clean, but this is like a
Really,
launch
Mazer?
title.
You really think so?
Well, the models for the characters, I mean, they're very smooth and everything, at least in the image I found. But
Maybe
but
on the second one.
it looks like a launch title. Like, oh crap, we don't know what the system's capable of. Let's
I mean, just look
experiment.
at these flowers. They look like they were made in MS Paint.
No, what looks like it's MS Paint is Kevin's face. Look at that.
Yes. I could do better, and I don't even know how to draw.
Um. Oh, but we have to show off the. Oh, that's a. I wanted to show
Yeah.
off a loading screen, but
And
that's
just
from
with like
someone
just
else's.
again just some random weapons there as well. I mean, uh, you had some glue to just trap them in place. There was bowling balls so you could just knock them out. Oh my god! Okay, I remember there was one that was actually fun,
I
which was
take back what I say about the character models.
I told you, I fucking told you. This is PlayStation One graphics in mid 2000s. Excuse me, that's an insult to PlayStation.
Yeah, those are pretty rough.
And like, what the hell? It's like two different characters, but what is the freaking difference between them? They
Th-
only change colors.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Is they did a yeah, even the shirts are the same. They just swap the colors out. You're
Exactly.
right.
That's what I'm saying. And
Um,
it's so lazy.
Lazy games are the worst. I never play. I don't unless I get a PlayStation 2 emulator running, which I think I actually have
Yes.
somewhere in my computer. I don't think I'll be able to, unfortunately, play this game, which would be fun because I like trying out stuff. But like I said, the gameplay itself looks a lot like. You ever play Zombie Ate My Neighbors?
Mm, not really, but I think I've heard of that. Do you fight like a giant baby at some point?
Yes, yes, you do,
I've heard of
100%.
it. I definitely heard of it.
I've live streamed Zombies Ate My Neighbors a few times, and people usually enjoy it. Oh, I didn't notice that one has a watermark. I apologize for using that image. The last thing I
Well,
want
it's
to,
fine.
yeah, I like trying to be as
I think what they tried to do is like, oh, let's take the zombies ate my neighbors
there we go.
game, make it 3D, throw some sweet Home Alone title into it, so we can get our own fame and just see what happens.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is a shame because we 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 all want a new Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I mean, that game was great. It's hard as hell. Don't get me wrong. And I think everybody
Yes,
listening could agree that Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a hard ass game. But damn it, is it good? And we would love a updated remake version of it. Whether it's it has to be over the top 3D like the original game. If you try to make it third person or first person, it'd ruin it. But you got to keep the humor and everything. But we all want that. But we got Home Alone PS2 instead, and that's garbage. That's bollocks.
yes, exactly. It's just bullshit.
Um, so,
So what about your other
oh well,
weird video games? By the way, how do you even like explain what a weird video game could be?
you got like weird video games like the Seaman game, which is just
Random.
that is completely random. To me, Seaman was an experimental social game where the company was like, you know what, we're going to try something brand new. We got this voice technology. Let's try it. And a few other games tried that as well. There's like a Lifeline game where you control the character strictly by your voice, and that was on I think PS2 or Dreamcast, and it was really
What year
interesting.
was it?
I don't know. Let's see, video
Because that sounds
game.
advanced, but if it's early, then I can only imagine how it went.
Yeah, it was like Lifeline. Yeah, I was right. Booyah! It was called Lifeline.
Did you
So
just turn into Cyborg from Teen Titans there?
yes,
Yes. Booyah.
Booyah! Bush. What does Michelangelo say? Boo Shakala or something like that in the new Ninja Turtles.
Don't ask me, I haven't watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for ages. And there were like a few shows anyway. I
Uh,
think they made a movie, like two movies,
yeah,
didn't they?
they made the Michael Bay movies that a lot of people did not
Michael
like.
Bay. Of course.
I
Of course.
watched I watched the first Ninja Turtles live action movie, and I mean Michael Bay one. It wasn't bad. It was just really dull. Yeah, Lifeline. So this is a weird ass game since you we brought it up.
Yes.
Um, I never played it, but I know of it. So the whole game, you control this girl, but you have to speak through her. Basically, you're trapped in another room, and you have to tell her everything to do. So you like walk down hallway, go to machine, pick up magazine, and you have all these commands to give her to control the game. Shoot monster, and it was for PS2. And a lot of people said it was a cool concept, but badly executed.
I
Because
think the concept is very cool. Like it's like a cooperation escape room type of game, but it's PlayStation 2. It's pretty early with the technology yet. At least this type of technology, so it doesn't sound good to me in the end.
yeah, it was an interest. Again, it was one of those experimental games, and
Yeah.
it didn't do too well. A lot of people said like the vocabulary was very small. You want them to pick up a book, but the game will have it not listed as a book. They'll have it listed as a magazine or something. So you're like, pick up book, pick up, uh, pick up thing, pick up literature, and you're trying all these words, and then you got to find the magic word magazine or something. Hey, retro,
Yeah.
it's going very good. Thank you. Um, and it just
No, I can imagine getting boring real quick just from
yeah,
listening to it.
but it was a cool experiment, and I like experimental games. That's why I like these weird games because they do something completely different. Um, so Lifeline would be another one since we were talking about microphones and stuff.
Speaking of experiments, have you heard of what is it called? I had it somewhere. It was LSD Dream Emulator for PlayStation 1.
What?
You haven't heard of that?
LSD Dream Emulator. I'm looking that up. What?
Yes.
Was this real?
Yes, that was real. That was actual PlayStation 1 game. So I did just a little bit of research before our stream, and it was supposed to actually not. It was not supposed to be a video game, but rather like an experiment on some form of like a modern art in late 90s. It's basically you have no story, and all you do is just walk around these random locations and just interact with things. And whenever you interact with something, you're being just teleported to another weird ass place. It's just so flippin' random.
It I'm just going through all the images right now. I don't think random is the right word. This is
What
like
would be the right one?
fever dream. Look at this. I hate that
Well, well, it's called LSD Dream Emulator for a purpose, sweetheart.
I mean, look at this. It looks like it looks like a glitch more than anything.
It's definitely. I mean, yeah, this whole game is probably like a big glitch in somebody's brain when they were making it.
It is. I'm just going through. It's just a bunch of colors. Um.
Yes.
Wow. And there's
So all
faces
I
in
imagine
it.
is that maybe somebody went on an LSD trip and just tried to make a video game out of his visions or something. That's my
This.
guess.
This is surreal. This is so surreal. I've never.
You need to try it. I think there's.
How much is this? I'd totally buy this. This is like right up my alley. Where do you buy these things? Okay.
I don't know. I haven't played that. I've just seen that.
Alice, let's see here. You can emulate it, of course. Let's see.
Yes.
Shopping. Okay, here we go.
When
Okay.
it was originally only released in Japan and was like didn't really get much popularity, but like later, like recently, it got uh popular again because of this whole
Uh,
level of fuckery going on.
yeah, it looks like
Because
it's Japanese only, which means I have to emulate it or get a modded PS1.
yeah, no,
Well, that's a shame. I'll definitely give it a shot though. Speaking of acid trips, I have a game that I own that the creators had to be on something when they made it. It is the one of the weirdest, but also one of the worst games I've ever played. I actually reviewed this back on Game Trailers when Game Trailers was still a thing, and
right?
the game is called Dog's Life.
Dog's Life. I
Yes,
don't think I remember that one.
it's a PlayStation 2 game where you get to play as a dog
Right.
and your girlfriend gets kidnapped by a dog hating group of people because the dog hating group of people uses dogs to turn into cat food.
What?
Yeah, so the
What
kid
cat food? Oh my god,
thanks cat.
that's so rude.
So
So cruel.
they kidnap dogs and they grind them up into cat food.
Oh my god.
And
They
they,
literally grind them into cat
yeah,
food.
because the last level of the game is the cat food factory, and to win, you have to push the woman who's doing all this. You have to push her into the cat food grinder.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm 100% telling the truth.
Who the hell came up with this?
You know what? I have no idea. Let's.
What were they smoking? I need this stuff.
This game looks like it was made by a company called Frontier that I'm looking at right
Yes.
here,
On here.
and
Okay, I'm gonna look final side in the dog's life. Okay, I see this woman. It's like a very ugly woman with ginger hair.
I think that's her. So the funny thing about the
Okay.
dog's life is you can actually go to a first person mode, um,
Yes.
and sniff out scents. So you could sniff out like urine or food or anything, and you follow the scents to find the next part of the puzzle and the level you're in. And, and for some reason,
Really?
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of cool. You can play
Yeah, it's actually
fetch.
smart.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of you playing as the dog is kind of neat. You play fetch, you play games, you find stuff, but there's this weird thing with the animation in the game
Yeah.
where, okay, so when I was doing my review for game trailers, I went into this convenience store to find, I think, a tennis ball or something like that. And y'all are not going to believe this. The person at the cash register, the one who runs the convenience store, she's just sitting there, right? And she's just staring
Yeah.
forward. All right, okay, no big deal. And then she slams her face into the cash register over and over and over and over again. And then she sits
What?
up and she holds her head and then she opens the register, looks at the money, closes it, and then just sits there.
What the actual hell?
It is absolutely surreal. It is like the weirdest thing. I want to actually see if I can find my old video of that. Hold on, let me go to my video manager and look it up. I might still have
Can we
the
talk
video.
about this? We're talking about here for a minute because we were telling this first person sniffing part. That's actually very smart in my opinion because I think lots of games use it nowadays,
They do, yeah.
don't they? Something similar. This sounds actually like this game has been ahead of its time, as weird as it sounds.
Oh, I don't have it. Oh,
Just I'm just trying to imagine like the creators of let's say Batman series, Batman Arkham series, just being inspired by this one weird ass Dog's Life game. Just imagine that.
oh my God, wouldn't that be hilarious?
I mean, it's possible.
It is possible.
You never know.
Let's see here. I'm going through all my old reviews on my YouTube, see if I can find the footage. It's so effing. It's like, yeah, I don't have that video anymore. It's probably
Uh,
the actual review might be buried in my computer. I lost so much when game trailers like shut down. So that was or
uh,
not shut down, but changed how they did things. But yeah, Dog's Life was just it's shoot. I should play that for a live stream one day. Good
I'm
God.
actually watching the final scene in the movie. Wait, what is he doing? I'm just watching the final scene. The lady, there's this lady, and
Yeah,
she's just aiming a shotgun at two dogs. What the heck?
yeah. That's what I was talking about. They like this is a game where
Wait a flipping second. Did this dog just fart at her?
yes, that's
Is
your
this why she fell down?
that's your main attack. Your main attack is to piss, fart, and bark. I think you can
Oh my
bite, but it's
god.
mostly barking and farting. Because apparently, like there's like a real like meta humor to the game, where it's like
Yes.
everyone's always blames the dog for like farting and everything, right? So of course that's like a primary weapon, and of course the game is narrated by the dog, so he's always proud of himself whenever he does like he does something like this.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
I
He
told
literally
you.
can't. Oh, I can't believe that.
Try,
That's
is there a faster way to?
that's insane.
There we go. Fit the screen. There is an option. Yeah, you kill the person. It's not a family friendly. Well,
Yes.
it's advertised as family friendly, but it's just
Yeah.
absolutely nuts. And it's just it's it.
Mhm.
What's sad is the woman's henchman is a special needs guy, and he has like one of those padded helmets on his head, and you could
Yeah.
tell she's just manipulating the fact that he has special needs. You can actually see it in the photo I posted.
Yeah, I see that. I see that slightly.
Yeah, let's zoom in on that guy right
What is
there.
this thing? What is this thing though? I don't normally. I don't know what that is.
It is a bizarre. I don't even know why I bought it. There it is. There's the little. You can see the guy with the little hat right here.
Because you like weird games, Maze. That's why you bought it.
Well,
Let's be fair.
I liked buying a bunch of. I bought games I've never heard of because I wanted to review them. And what got me started in that
You know, the
was
opposite.
what's that?
I'm usually the opposite. I don't. I didn't like to buy games I didn't know. Like Shadow of the Colossus.
Yes,
Shadow of
yes.
the Colossus. That's a really cool game. But I didn't want to play this because I didn't know it when I was like 13 years old, and I got into it, and I still didn't want to play further because I didn't like the atmosphere of it.
Hey, welcome back, Claus. You you didn't like the atmosphere of
I didn't like the atmosphere. It was
really?
creepy.
Well, yeah, that's why it's so good.
Well, now that I'm older, I know it. But I was a scaredy cat. I was a little scaredy bitch. I still
I
am.
I liked pushing my scare limits with. Oh, I found it. I found. Hold
You
on.
found what?
I found the image of the woman getting ground up into cat food.
I could have just sent you the link. I was looking at the video. You could have just told me to send the link. I could have just sent the link. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's all good. It's
Yeah.
all good. Let's move that image. Yeah, yeah, there she is.
Yes.
There's the final boss. She's getting sent into a cat grinder to be chopped up. Oh, Beth's here. Hi,
And he almost
Beth.
fell down there after a dog farted at him.
Hey, Vomit. How you guys doing? Yeah, yeah. It's crazy ass game. Crazy ass game.
It's just a lot to unpack. I just keep it at that.
Um, so what got me wanting to review these games and talk about them was I bought a bunch of NES games at random. I just grabbed a whole stack that were like $3 or something. And there's a game I found in that pile called The Wall Street Kid.
Hmm. The Wall Street Kid.
Yes.
Sounds like something of a Wolf of Wall Street kind.
You know what? You are not wrong. You are.
Maybe not.
No, it is a game about the stock market.
Oh no.
The wall.
It sounds bad.
Well, no, it's actually really interesting because there we go.
What is it?
Oh, it's an NES game.
Oh, I see.
I like The Forest and Resident Evil. Those are my two favorite survival games in Silent Hill Claws. So Wall Street Kid is a game where you play as a stockbroker, or and you're trying to raise, I think, $1 billion by the end of the game. So you get a mansion, a yacht, marry your girlfriend, and all this craziness. But you have a time limit, so
Yeah.
you have to study the stocks. You have to figure out which ones are rising, which ones are falling. You have to quickly buy them, sell them
No.
within this time limit. And what happened was the angry video game nerd, James Rolfe, was talking about a Superman game. And in the second level of the Superman game, they were talking about stock prices collapsing. And he yelled out at the screen, in his video, he screamed, "Who wants to play a game about stock markets?" I was like, well, I got a game about stock markets. So I emailed James, and I was like, dude, James, because that's when he had his email public. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
James, you mentioned freaking, God, this was before Twitter, so that tells you how long ago this video was.
Mm-hmm.
I emailed him. I said, dude, there's a game called Wall Street Kid. It is about the stock market. I think it'll be hilarious if you brought that up. Well, man, James is super busy. His email was super flooded. So I never got an answer from him. I did email him another time, and I actually did get an answer. He's a really cool guy. But
Yeah.
all that aside, so I was like, well, shoot, there's this game called Wall Street Kid. I should review it and show people that this game exists. And I didn't. I chose other games, and I didn't talk about Wall Street Kid until like a year later.
Oh, damn it.
And instead, I talked about a game called. Okay, so y'all are going to enjoy this. Everybody paying attention. I have a game called Spanky's Quest.
Spankies.
Spanky's Quest, and
Does it have to do something with
with what?
spanking?
With what?
With spanking.
Well, let me see if I can explain this very well. In Spanky's Quest, it was my very first video I've ever reviewed.
Yes.
You play a monkey named
Mhm.
Spanky who has to bounce balls on his head
Right.
in order.
Sounds like my usual Saturday evening so far. But go on.
And basically, you have to kill these enemies and turn them into balls and bounce them on your head.
Okay, still my Saturday evening. Go on.
And once you kill all the enemies, you move to the next level. And I don't know where the hell I bought this. I don't know why I bought this, but it was my first, like, I used to call it, my series was called WTF Games You Never Played. And
Yes.
Spanky's Quest was my very first episode. And because I was just like, that was before live streaming was a big deal. So I was like doing live commentary while playing the game, but recording it. And
Mm-hmm.
that video is bad, man. I don't know if it's even on my YouTube anymore, but my first attempt at doing like commentary during the gameplay was weird. But yeah, it's about a witch, monkeys, spanking balls, and
Well, I can see the witch.
yeah, it is. Um, again, it's another weird game. And what's funny is it's not a bad game. It's actually quite colorful. The graphics are nice.
I mean, there
Um,
can be good weird games.
you know,
Technically, lots of games could be weird nowadays. I mean, let's take a typical shooter. These people shoot you, you have blood on your eyes. How does that work?
exactly,
Somebody shoot you
exactly.
in the leg and you have blood spurting on your head, like, and not to mention 5 seconds later you're healed.
You're all healed. You're perfectly. You just regenerate you just regenerate the piss out of yourself.
You just like Piccolo, like an Namekian. You just regenerate yourself.
Yeah, it's a
Looks like a bumper a little bit, for some reason.
right. Now, what's really funny is you mentioned, you know, weird games can be good. I did this one on a stream. I think you saw it. There was Cubivore.
Cubivore.
Yeah, were you
Cubivore.
there when I was
Okay.
playing Cubivore, or was that before you joined
I don't
us?
think so. I don't remember you playing any Vors.
Cubivore was a game where you play as a cube who has to
Right.
eat. You eat other cubes.
Well, explains the title.
Exactly, to become the king of cubes.
The the Cuba King.
The Cuber King, exactly.
So
And
we becoming a cube Bowser or something?
sort of, yeah. So you start off as a piggy, and then you start. No, wait. Well, what did you start off as? Yeah, you start off as a piggy, and then you move to a chicken, and then you move to a bear.
How are we moving from pig to chicken? I'm very sure that chickens are smaller than pigs.
Well, this game had you go from pig to chicken, I think.
I don't like this game. This game is unreal.
It's I like how it's
This
the
game,
I like how it's the evolution of pig to chicken that you find weird and like nope, that's where I draw the line. No
yes,
pigs
that's
evolving into
unreasonable
chickens.
for me. I have a line, okay? I have my limits.
And that's the limit. We found Claire's limit. It's when a
That's
pig
too
evolves
kinky
into
for
a
me.
chicken.
That's too kinky for me.
And yeah, it's a great game. It's hard as hell near the end of it, but it's a great game. The only downside is, and this is what sucked when I live streamed it, is you have to evolve 110 different variations to get the good ending.
What? Excusez-moi.
Yeah, so
How do you do that?
you see those little flaps on the character on the stream?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so
The flap.
you have to like grab the flaps off other animals, and every time you
Mm-hmm.
get a new style, you become something different. Well, you have to do that 110 times.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I never knew that, so when I beat the game, I first of all I didn't even know I was on the final boss, and then when I did get to the final boss, without
Yes.
realizing it, I killed it and I got credits, but I got the bad ending.
Oh, what happened to the bad ending?
Basically, it just says you did not evolve well. You're not king of monsters, and it starts you at the very beginning. But it's
Oh,
saved.
excuse me. We're all imperfect. You don't have to point it out to me.
So
This is what you should be actually should have been.
we start at the beginning. You save all the mutations you gathered, but you still have to collect the 110.
Oh, I would be too lazy to do that. To be fair, I don't think I would
Oh
make it to the good ending.
yeah, I have my own issues. I wanted to keep streaming until we got the last variations, but unfortunately, that was way too much of a grind. But
You know what? What weird good game I know. That's like it's weird. It's like really good in my opinion. I love its pieces. Like the whole franchise. There's a whole franchise, but it's weird. It's very weird. And to be fair,
what's that?
Metal Slug.
I love Metal Slug. Who here in the chat
It's
rooms do not like Metal Slug?
yeah.
Come on.
We stand Metal Slug here. Okay. If somebody doesn't like it, they can get out of the stream right now.
You know what? I just found the perfect image to bring Metal Slug up
Okay,
for
yeah,
this stream.
just find me just find something that just will sum
If
up the whole game
if nobody
together.
believes that Metal Slug is a weird game, they got to look at the screenshot right here. All right.
This, no, no, this is not the weirdest part of the game.
I
Okay,
know it's not the weirdest part, but look at that. You're a soldier on a ostrich with a laser cannon shooting men behind his shield.
Nazis shooting Nazis.
Well, quote unquote Nazis. But yeah, we all know that they are. Hold on, let's see
Yes.
if we can find something even weirder. Oh, here we go.
Metal Slug 3, where you actually fight slugs, for example.
All right, Metal Slug 3 slugs. Let's see here.
You know this level, don't you?
I do. Oh, here's one. Here's a
I
good.
think I've went through all of the levels
I
of
got
Metal
the
Slug.
Metal Slug and series on the Wii. You get the whole collection of all the games, and I just
I
marathon
have the
the hell.
anthology on PlayStation 4, so yay me.
There you go. There's closest thing to a slug I could find in short time. But Metal Slug is amazing. I used to play this in the arcade all the time. Claus, how is it not weird? You're in a drill underground shooting a giant. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, don't ask me. I have no clue.
I never
Wait, what
understood
happened?
the actual story of Metal Slug. I just knew it involved like quasi Nazis, and then it involved aliens, and then we got.
I think there actually is like story to it, but like the actual game never explains that.
No, not at all. And you know what? No one
No.
cares. No one cares because Metal Slug is a very good. Um, it's a great game with tight controls. The graphics are beautiful. I love
Exactly.
how weird the characters look. Um, I like
Out
the
of the
fact
weird monsters that we fight and machines.
one of the things I enjoy about Metal Slug is your character can become if you eat too many like life items, you become
Oh
fat.
yes.
If you
Not
get hit,
exactly life items if you eat too much food. because they are just food laying around sometimes, and at some stages you can just eat too much and then you get fat. And is it just me, or actually do you become stronger with that?
I don't know if you become stronger. You do become slower. If you get the mummy's curse, though, you get the vomit blood attack.
No, 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 no. That's not Mommy's curse. Mommy's curse was shit. Mommy's curse was shit because
Oh wait, is that the
you
zombie
lost
one I'm
all
talking
like
about?
good weapons. That's the zombie one. That's the zombie one. Okay,
You're
you have to be
right.
zombie, not a mommy.
Oh, there
Oh
it
my
is.
god, that's the last boss of the Meta Slug 3. That was meta. That was. That
I mean,
brings up so many memories.
oh, you know what? I've always been able to find Neo Geo machines in arcades, and
Yes.
they always have. There's the zombie one. You always have Metal Slug
Yeah.
as one of the options. It doesn't matter if it's one X, whatever the hell it is. Metal Slug is always a fun game. But what was funny was when I was in college, I brought my PlayStation 2 with me sometimes to school, and
Yeah.
we hooked it up, and I was playing Contra Shattered Soldier, which is the only Contra on PS2 that I know of. And it's a really good but super hard game. And I'm playing the game, and some freshman comes up to us and is like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." He's like, um, "What is it called?" I'm like, "Oh, it's called Contra." And the freshman's like, "Is that based off Metal Slug?"
Oh
And
boy.
I just looked at him. He goes, "Yeah, this reminds me of Metal Slug. Is it based on that?" I was like, "Get out." Get out. Contra predates
Uh,
as much as I do
oh.
not bring this heresy into my chambers. It
Oh,
was
he must have been so offended.
well, it was so funny because I kind of went on this I went on this rant. My friends were there, so I went on this rant where I was like, um, back in the day when the dawn rose above the heavens, a company called Konami, the creators of the up, down, down, left, right, BA starts, brought down upon us something known as the Contra. And it was, I just went on this huge, like, preacher rant. And my friend was next to me with his hands in the air going,
You
I,
know what? If this was actually if it happened, okay, if it happened, then if I would be that guy, I would be just walking away slowly, just
oh,
like,
they were all just,
okay.
everyone was just laughing because, I have no. That's when I lost all shame. Was during college. Like, I didn't care what people thought, so I just went on this like silly rant, and then the guy sat down and he played some more Contra with us.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone. I
I
honestly.
mean, it's a hard game anyway. Any Contra is a fucking hard game. Do you know that they made actually a 3D Metal Slug game?
What?
There's a 3D Metal Slug game. I'm not shitting you. I'm not kidding.
Oh, what the
I
hell
think it's
is
on
this?
PlayStation 2. Look,
You
3.
are right.
I know I'm right. What's new? What's new, Mazer?
Hold on, hold
Yeah, in
on.
2006. Metal Slug in 2006. They made it 3D. It was shit, but it exists. It exists.
Look at this, Beth. Beth, look at this. It is like heresy. I mean, at first I was like, okay, the graphics look kind of cute, and then the longer I look at it, I'm like, no.
But that's the thing. I don't think a Metal Slug game should ever be 3D because that's what's unique about it. That's a bullet hell game, and bullet hell games have its uniqueness because they're 2D. You can't get the same thing with 3D.
No, not really. And they chose the worst type of 3D for this. I mean, they should have made it a 3D game, but still a 2D side scroller, kind of like Donkey Kong Country.
Okay, so it's like 2.5D.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's called. I
Yeah,
don't quote. I'm not,
2.5D or whatever.
I'm not a specialist. I'm just a girl with a dream.
Oh God, the character models look terrible. I mean, I like the environments. The environments don't look bad, but they tried
Yeah.
mimicking the art style with the characters, and God, look at his
And
head. What
it
is
doesn't work.
to quote
It just doesn't work.
To quote Plinkett, "What's wrong with your face?"
Everything. That's what. I mean, their heads are oversized. First of all, I think that's what they try to do. What they try to do is just keep like the 2D sizes, if you know what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say there.
because the heads are very exaggerated in the original game because they want to be
Yeah.
very expressive. You have, when
Well,
they
it's not gonna
pant
work
and
in 3D.
just make him look like a normal character. Or here's something: don't make Metal Slug in 3D.
That's a very good idea. And it's weird because they made it 3D, but they kept like certain things about this, like from 2D side scroller. Like, in 2D version, you go from left to right, and when you get to a certain part, you can't go back,
That's
right?
ridiculous. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And in 3D version, they also did exactly that.
So you
They
can't go
just like
backwards.
now you just have this like uh, red barrier just blocking you from going backwards after you get to certain part.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's Metal Slug is not a game. I am
no.
totally going to try to play this though. It can't be
You're very welcome to try.
it can't be that bad, right? Was it released in Japan only? I bet you it was.
I don't know. Maybe it was. I can just check real quick for you. Um, da 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 da. Devote
I'm just looking at all the
released in
3D pictures.
Japan June 2006. Yeah, it was released only in Japan because of the negative reviews.
Of course it was. So it's time to emulate again. Woohoo! Because
Yeah.
I don't think my PS2 plays. Yeah, PS2 is not is still region locked. I think it's not till the
Oh, don't ask.
PS3.
Playing
PS.
the PlayStation 2 in 8 years.
Well, uh, I think I want to bring out the weirdest game I own. Exactly,
Okay.
Beth.
Yeah, it's your side anyways. It's your turn anyway.
Yeah, all right, so this is the weirdest game I own. I spent $120 on it. Because it was only available in China and Japan. And for me to get a copy of this, I needed the Chinese version of the game because it's the only one that had the English translation. Okay.
Oh
So
goodness.
I had to go to Play Asia and I had to spend a lot of money to get this. And we were
Did you
talking,
actually go to Asia to buy this game?
no, Play Asia. It's a website.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Dude, no, if I had to fly to Asia, no, forget that, man. That the cost alone would go insane. So this, I don't even know how I found this game. I have no memory of how I found it. But I was going through my reviews and everything, and this is it. It's called Aquanauts Holiday.
You know what it reminds me of instantly? It reminds me of Echo the Dolphin.
I can
That's my first thought.
So imagine Echo the Dolphin, because Echo was very
Yes.
surreal with aliens and everything. And then
Yeah.
combine that with Pokemon Snap.
What's Pokemon Snap? Mazer. I know Pokemon, but I've never heard of Pokemon Snap. Mazer, don't make that face.
I just heard, oh my god, I just heard 1,000 gamers cry out all at once and then were suddenly silent.
I'm busy, okay? I don't just play video games. I'm a busy person. I do music a lot,
All right,
I'm a musician. But right now, I'm a musician first of all, and then gamer second of all. Maybe even
okay.
third of all. So
Oh,
shush.
okay, hold on. So
Okay, I think I made Klaus crying. I think I made Klaus crying.
Oh no, he says he's not crying. So okay, let me explain. Pokemon Snap was a Nintendo 64 game where
Okay.
instead of capturing Pokemon with Pokeballs, you sit in this little cart, like a little roller coaster cart, and you
Right.
go through a Pokemon theme park and take photos of Pokemon in the natural
Ah.
habitat.
Oh, that sounds nice. Well, but if it was named 64, no wonder I've never heard of it.
Yeah, that might have been. Was that before your time?
I think so. I mean, when I was born, PlayStation 2 was released, so
Hmm.
I'd say so.
Okay, so
Yes,
you,
I am that young.
yeah,
I
yeah.
am
So
that young. Thank you.
you had like, you would be doing like GameCube and stuff like that.
Probably. Well, I still did Sony instead of Nintendo because, once again, I'm poor, bitch.
Well, here, like, all right. So this is Pokemon Snap. You're like, so you, like, you'll go through all these environments and you try to take photos of the Pokemon. It's really cool, right?
Mhm.
And
Okay.
what you do is you get these items. So like the apple, you could lure them out, and you replay the levels as you unlock new items because you could find Pokemon that have been hiding, and the new items will lure them out. And
Okay.
like if you get a Charmeleon and you lure him into a pool of lava, it will evolve in front of you and become a Charizard. And that's how you get like a good dynamic photo. And what was really cool about that game is you could go to Blockbuster with your memory card and print out the photos you made as stickers.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Oh my god,
really
that's so
cool.
cute.
It was really cool. So
That's cute.
Aquanaut's Holiday is your friend was exploring this cove. He vanished, and you go to the cove and you get in this little submarine, kind of like Subnautica and stuff. And you're
Uh-huh.
looking for him, and you take photos of fish and treasure. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up as the last game is because we were talking about games that are weird but very good. So eventually in the game, you learn that the fishies can talk, but they do this weird singing. So they kind of hum to you. And it's a mini game, kind of like Simon Says, where you mimic the humming back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're doing this, you start discovering journal entries that your friend left behind with the fish, and your friend becomes very obsessed with this underwater cove. And the deeper you get into the world, the creepier it becomes. You find
Ooh, there's a twist in there. We love twists.
there is, because while you're playing it, you find out that you find out that there was a small town that got swallowed up. So you're like swimming through the streets of this town. You find these
Oh,
underwater temples. Um, and as you get deeper and deeper into the cove, like under like deeper as in straight down, you
mhm.
discover you'll be
Oh, excuse me, Merza. I thought that deeper went straight up.
no
Thank you for explaining.
listen to me. Deeper can
I'm
also mean
I'm
forward.
listening to you. I'm listening to you.
Deeper can also go forward. It doesn't always mean down to some people. But check this out.
Okay.
Check this out. So you'll end up finding
Uh,
giant squid. You'll
yeah.
find megalodons. You start
Oh
finding
my god,
all.
Max.
It gets creepier and creepier, and then you find out that your buddy got so obsessed he wanted to leave the submarine, drown himself, so that his soul
Wow.
could enter the cove.
What the hell? So did he
And
become a fish at the end or something?
well, at the end of the game, you kind of find like a pod, which is his last message, and he says
Yeah.
that the cove is more not of this planet, and then you kind of see like this energy rise from the pod, and he goes, "I will now join my soul with them," or something like that, and it goes into space. It just shoots
That's
straight up into the air and vanishes, and your character just kind of sits there in his cockpit like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, I think his friend just died. That's what happened.
And it's weird because as you go around, they're like, oh, there's all these interesting artifacts here and there, and you're like, okay, what's this? Um, what's this artifact? And they're like, oh, it's just stone. And when you find it, you're like, that's a UFO.
Oh, well, I can see that definitely.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's a
Yeah, this
UFO.
is getting creepy. From your description, it's quite creepy. By the way, I love Klaus's comment because he agrees with me that deeper doesn't necessarily mean forward.
You can go deeper into the forest by going forward into the forest.
Well, you can also go deeper into the forest by going backwards.
How does that work?
Well, if simple, you just turn around and you walk backwards into the forest.
Our forest has cannibals in it
Why are you bringing cannibals into the forest?
because the forest is about surviving cannibals. Beth knows this.
Shush. It's not the right stream, okay? We're not on Plexstorm, we're on YouTube. I mean, we are on Plexstorm, but not exclusively.
But
You stream that later.
yeah, if you guys really got to try Aquanauts. So, do you have any last games you want to bring up before we ask the audience their opinions on what
Okay.
games they brought up?
I'm not sure which one. Okay, a really good weird game, and you know it very well because you've played it recently, is Undertale.
Oh, Undertale was yeah, that's a it's weird in the sense of the gameplay.
I think the story is weird as well a little bit because you when you get to Snowden, for example, you have so many like characters thrown at your face that are just bizarre.
Yes, yes, I completely agree.
You know,
Trying to get a non-spoiler photo up.
it's hard to do so. We don't like spoilers on this channel.
No
Oh no.
spoilers. Yeah, Undertale was one of those games for me where everybody was worshiping the hell out of it, and I was like, it looks great, and I can't wait to play it. But I was like, good lord, what is up with you guys? This can't be that good.
I mean, you know what? Undertale is basically one of these games. This is a great game, but the community can be shit
Well, it's
and just obsessed with it to the toxic levels.
that's every gaming community. Any gaming community can get toxic when they think their game is the best. However, that said, when I finally played this, I was like, you know what? You guys are right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Undertale is
Um,
effing amazing. It's a great game. I was so sucked into it. I know, Beth. If we don't punch the cannibals when we see them, they'll become our friends. You know what? That was my bad. I didn't mean to stab the cannibal in the face, but I did, and I'm sorry.
Excuse me, how many times they tell you not to hit monsters because Mama Goat told you not to, and you didn't even listen to me?
I only killed one monster in Undertale, only one, and everybody yelled at me in the chat room to start the game over and play
I
pacifist.
yelled at you. Mostly I yelled at you.
Everybody, yeah, you did too. And I was just like, fine, I'll play the game over and do this thing you guys call a pacifist run. All right, let's see what
Yes.
this is all about. Well, I am glad that I did.
Well, we are glad that you did, and we are glad that you actually listened to us for once. Jesus Christ.
Ha!
How many just screaming it takes for you to do something?
Oh, Undertale is awesome.
It is awesome. And like the story, I was sobbing at the end of like the pacifist route.
Yeah, yeah, it's when everyone asked me to go back because I beat the final boss, but I didn't get the full ending because I forgot to befriend what's her name? Who's the scientist?
Alphys.
Alphys. I didn't befriend her
Can I say
100%.
something? You didn't actually forget about it. You can do this after beating the game on the neutral.
Yeah, and that's what I did. So then after that I befriended Elvis because everyone said you got to finish it. So I convinced her to date Undine and
Undyne. That's how I call her. Undyne.
Undine, and then it's like, all right, now play the final ending. I finished the final ending. I was like, oh my god, this is so emotional. Oh,
That's
Mama
so
Goat.
emotional.
I love
This
Mama
was
Goat.
really emotional. Yes, Mama Goat is the best.
What's her real name? I'd always called her Mama Goat. What's her real name?
Toriel,
That's
bitch.
Tariel. That's
Toriel.
right. Tor, yeah,
Toriel.
Toriel.
Yes.
Yeah, Mama Goat is so freaking cute. She is
Yes, she is.
adorable.
uh,
Oh yeah, yeah. There's okay. So this is an image. I don't want to bring it up, but because it's I don't want to. If I cannot credit the artist, I'm not going to post it. But it shows a guy crying. He goes, "No, I don't want to fight Mama Goat." And I'm like, "Yes, exactly. I never want to fight Mama Goat."
you know what I did because I don't know if you did the genocide route.
I have not done the genocide route.
Did you
No,
do it?
no, no, no,
You know what I did the genocide route. It was such a pain to do it. I was when I had to fight Mama Goat. I was actually like heartbroken. Yes, don't bring the memories, please. You're bringing
no.
memories. I don't want to think about killing. And I did it in such a bad way as well. You know. Do you
well,
want to know how I killed
Well, I saw someone playing it recently. Somebody linked me the genocide run, and I saw it. And when I saw the cuts, like you slash her up, and you see the cuts appear on her body, I was like, "No, I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to see Toriel get hurt. No."
I did this even worse because I actually couldn't like bring myself at the beginning to like fight her, you
Mhm.
know. So I did all I did was just spare, even though I was already on the genocide route technically.
Right,
Then you know when you actually get to the point where she doesn't attack you, just talks to you.
right.
And when I got to this point, I was like, I have to do this. And this is when I
No,
attacked her.
no, no,
And
no. You're
and
horrible.
and, and all of her health with one hit, all of her health was gone.
No, Mama Goat.
And she was like shocked and was like, oh, she was shocked and was like, oh, at my most vulnerable moment. I was like, I didn't mean to. I'm
Oh,
so
at the
sorry.
most vulnerable moment. You're
That's what
horrible.
she said.
Oh,
And she was like, oh, I think I might have underestimated you. I think you will do quite well. And then she died. I was like,
no.
ah!
Beth also
And no,
killed
if
Toriel.
when you do, I don't know if you go, are you gonna do it in the end?
Um, I have to set some time aside. I don't because I heard that if you play Genocide, it's a lot harder.
Um, it is. You have two bosses that are just bitchy.
I heard that
Just
what's his name?
who?
Not Papyrus, the other one.
Sans.
Sans. I heard he's actually really hard.
He is OP. He is OP. That's what I'm gonna tell you. It took
Oh,
me a few days to beat him.
that's ridiculous. Sans. Thank you, Beth. Yeah, Undertale is. You know what? It lived up to the hype, and I really appreciate it. Thank
Hmm.
God you can't.
That's why I'm excited for the Deltarune.
You know what? Never look up Toriel from Undertale. Don't look up Mama Goat with your save filter turned off.
What did you just find?
It's
What did
just
you just find?
well, no, it's like a lot of people. There's a lot of very cute images of Mama Goat, and then you just scroll
Yeah.
down and you're like, she is not that busty. Stop it.
Uh,
Stop it. Mama Goat should never be looked at in that light.
okay, you got me. I'm searching Mama Goat
Oh,
now.
don't search Mama Goat.
You tell me to not do that, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, you know what? Okay. Oh my goodness, you won't believe what I just see.
Uh,
I see actual goats.
you see actual goats. We have to type
What
in
did
her actual
you?
name, not Mama Goat.
I put Mama Goat.
Oh my.
What did what did you put?
I put Toriel.
You just tutorial.
Apparently,
What do you mean that?
there's this weird thing about Mama Goat and gaining weight because there's a specific category. So I have frisk, fan art, fat, pregnant, thick, weight gain.
Ugh. It's weird. It's fair. Oh my god. She's flirting with Sans here. Jesus. You're not into sans. Get yourself a tutorial.
That's weird. All right. Okay. So we got um Undertale, as I like to call it.
The towel.
Um, so let's take a moment to address the audience. Beth over on Plexstorm already says that she has a weird game she'd like to bring up. Beth, what is your weird game that you would like
Yes,
to bring up? Please tell
yes.
us.
Let us see. We need to see some weird games. We'd love to see some
I
weirdness.
need to stop drinking things I find on my desk.
What was that? What did you just drink?
It was just water, but it's like dusty water.
Oh, it's the
Ugh.
worst. It's like it's bitter.
It's just gross. It's like sometimes I forget to drink my what I bring with me for a live stream, and then okay. She says it's a game called Off.
Off. If wait. What? Oh, his game is called Off.
Off.
Okay. So you
I
look
th-
it up.
I
We're
am
gonna see.
I am looking it up. It looks like it's hand drawn.
What is it? What is it about, Beth?
Yes. Let's see if I could pull up an image here. Mama goat, mama goat. I just like saying that over and over again.
We should make a song about Mama Goat. I can make a
Mama
song.
goat. Yeah, is this it, Beth? Is this off?
Okay, it reminds me of Undertale a little bit already.
It's a Kiri pixel adventure made with RPG Maker, and the music. Oh my God! You're the player that controls the batter, and you have to do the purge the world of evil spirits.
Can't we just purge the world of everybody? That might be easier.
Ugh.
I mean, I don't know what this Slack thing is. They
Uh,
look a little. Ugh. Do you see this cat on the right side?
yeah, I'm looking
He
at
has
them.
creepy ass smile. Oh
He,
my god.
he has like a little Cheshire cat smile.
Yeah, exactly. This Cheshire
No,
cat from the.
there we
Have you
go.
seen? Have you seen the Alice in the Wonderland? This Return to Wonderland? I don't know.
Yeah, the
Madness Returns.
it's the American McGee's Alice. I've always wanted to play. I tried playing the first one on the computer, but it's so um hard to play on computer. But I got the second one also. All right, so she says everything is creepy, but in reality, hell world. There are smoke mines and blood rivers, and this sounds like it's right up my alley. Where can I get this? Is this in
I
Steam?
would make a joke about Blood River, but I don't want to be called a misogynist.
Oh my Jesus God! Don't even start that. All right, off. Let's see it. No, not I
I'm
off.
sorry.
There's off grid, off peak, blast off, get off my lawn. That sounds like my life. Left alive, Stardew Valley.
Left alone is what I would like to be. I mean, not
Interesting.
forever.
You want to be left alone until you don't want to be left alone. This is
Exactly.
this. I like the art style. I like the simple art style, but the battle scenes are what are like really getting me curious
I don't
because
know what scenes.
well, here's another one of the fight scenes. It reminds me a lot of David Firth. If you guys ever follow Salad Fingers and
What is that?
types of soup, where everything is very surreal and uncomfortable looking,
Oh,
and
I don't like that style of games.
oh, I
Or that
do. I
style.
like feeling uncomfortable when I play games. Like you're looking at images that you shouldn't be looking at. You're just like the longer you stare at it, it's like this is everything about this that I'm looking at is wrong.
It's like it's so unsettling sometimes. I think that's what it was up when I was playing Shadow of the Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was this kind of like a mist and everything was kind of like a in the PlayStation 2 version it was kind of blocky as well.
Yeah.
Just this kind of weird feeling. And it was like I also had echo. but I also didn't like it. It was just creepy. I thought it was some kind of like horror game.
When when I first got Silent Hill 2,
Ooh.
um can I play this for a little bit? It's the battle music. Ooh, I could try. Well, I don't get money. I don't get freaking money on my channel anyways right now, so I don't have to worry about losing monetization for.
So let's do it. Screw the system.
All right, we'll play. Let's play a little bit of the battle music. Are you guys ready?
Hello, Rose.
All right.
How was your Nutella, Rose? I don't hear anything. Maybe that we don't. Oh wait. Never mind.
All right, that's all I'm going to afford. I like that, Beth. It's bouncy. It's upbeat. It doesn't match any of the visuals whatsoever.
Are you sure it's the right soundtrack?
No, yeah, I heard that part. It also glitches. It glitches out, like you hear like it skips and stuff.
Oh,
Hey,
right.
Rose. Um. Oh, wait a second. Claus brings up the game, a weird game where pets are racing and throwing random stuff at each other. Isn't that is that Noah's? Oh crap! What is that game? John Tron reviewed it, like Noah's Racing or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my God. We need to see Noah's like racing game.
Oh, what
Noah's
was
Ark.
that?
Noah's Ark 2 or something. I need to check. You need to see that.
Hold
It's
on,
just a
John
beautiful
Tron.
game.
Oh wait, he never mind. He says it's called Pet Racer. Claus.
Pet Racer. Right. Right.
That's not the JonTron game. This is something. Did it? Yo, Pet Racer. You asked me to play this a while ago, Claus. I could never find it though.
You haven't played it yet. Somebody asked you to do that. How dare you?
Well, it's an
You
older,
would love it.
old.
It's such a broken game.
What, Pet Racer?
No, maybe not a broken, but it's so random. Like there's some cutscenes that just that doesn't even look like cutscenes. That they just look like you broke the game.
For Pet Racer.
Yes. No, for flipping Silent Hill 2.
Well, that's just an incorrect statement right there, because Silent Hill 2 is a masterpiece.
No, that's not the game.
No, he Claus is talking about a different game than the one with Noah.
Oh, sorry. I was
That's
thinking
why
of
I kept
Noah.
asking you. That's why I kept asking you.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, this is Pet Racer. This is a weird game that Claus mentioned just now. The only reason I haven't played one of these games like Pet Racer is old PC games are hard to run. When I do Oregon Trail or when I played Phantasmagoria, I had to go through DOSBox and all this finicky stuff.
Oh, let's not talk about Oregon Trail.
I love
You
Oregon
got me to
Trail.
play like the second game of it, I think.
Yeah,
What did you get me to play?
I got you to play that one. Yeah, you played Oregon Trail too.
Yeah,
I think you
that's
died
atrocious.
real fast.
That was atrocious.
Now, Beth, if you want a creepy ass soundtrack, I'm going to link it to you because I don't want to get a YouTube yelling at me. One of the games I played, and I think I might play this again, was called Rule of Rose.
Ooh, Rose, do you hear that? It's your rule.
And Rule of Rose is. Remember how I said I like games that make you very uncomfortable?
Oh God, I don't like where this is going.
This is one of those games. Hold on, Claus, I'll try. So, first of all, the soundtrack to Rule of Rose is all violins and piano. That's it. It's very unsettling because it's just like um, quick little screeches on violins, and it's uncomfortable. And basically, you're an orphan who goes to an orphanage, but you're like you're 18, so you don't belong there. But you go back to try to remember something. There's something you can't remember, so you go back to this orphanage, and when you're there, you discover
What?
that there's only 3 adults. There's like a nurse, the guy who runs it, and a janitor. And the school is technically run by the Aristocrat Society. And the Aristocrat Society is these kids.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let me get the photo up. So it's all these kids who have decided to rule the school.
Oh my god, that's creepy. I just found a picture of one of these kids. They have these weird masks on them,
Um,
don't they?
no, you might be actually looking at it. Does it look like a scream face?
A little bit.
Yeah, those are imps. Those are the monsters in the game.
Sorry.
So the aristocrats run everything with an iron fist. Hi, Rose. I'm sorry. I was looking through Google. And the first thing they tell you is, okay, we want you to find a butterfly. And first one to find a butterfly joins the Red Crayon Society. Those who don't find a butterfly will be executed.
Oh Jesus, how cute! We love competition with gifts, with prizes.
And at one point of the game, your character's rival wins, and so they decide to torture you by it's called the rat torture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they tie a living rat on a stick and just shove it in your face so they'll bite and claw you.
Ugh.
And the reason the game is so disturbing is there's a lot of undertones of sexual abuse, same-sex romances, but not really wanted same-sex romances, but at the same time they are.
Still sexual abuse.
Still lots of sexual abuse, murder, rape, and
Underage sexual abuse.
exactly, and it's just very uncomfortable. And basically, long story short, you kind of find out that somebody forced one of the kids to dress up, I think, as a boy, and that caused a problem where the father ends up going back to the school. And if I remember correctly, he either cannibalized or just straight up murdered all the children, but he did so while naked and acting like a dog.
That sounds really uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's one of the greatest effing survival games I've ever played.
Oh Jesus!
Like,
but also the picture you just showed me. I don't want to be this person, but the girl's face looks like she's actually into it.
Yeah, that's a bad image.
Very bad image. It looks like some. It looks like it's from porn. Some kind of porn.
Rat porn.
Yes, rat porn. I don't think it's legal though, so maybe you should take it off.
All right, I'll pull up the. I'll go. Let's go back to Pet Racer.
Yes, let's go back to safe Pet Racer. Let's go back to our safe zone. Happy place.
A happy place.
Happy mistakes. Happy trees.
Happy trees. I love Bob Ross. You know, Bob Ross was supposed to get a game on the Wii, where you use the Wiimote to paint, and that never happened. And that made me sad.
I'm kind of glad it didn't happen. That could have been too much with like commercializing on Bob Ross after his death.
Dude, you have no idea. Bob Ross is commercialized up the ass.
I mean, I know, like
that guy.
like
I mean, he has his own like thing of paint, but they sell his brand of paint supplies are so expensive.
well, I can flip and imagine. You know, it's just because of his name.
That is true, Beth. We do get a dog. And that dog is actually very helpful in Rule of Rose. And thankfully, as far as I can remember, the dog's also immortal.
Immortal?
The dog won't die.
Okay, that's better. That's actually better. Thank you.
And I prefer that because there's nothing worse when you get like an animal in a game only for it to just die like 5 minutes later.
Oh, yes, that's sad.
Yeah, but there's supposed to be a Bob Ross. I'm not ignoring you, Rose. I said hello.
I said hello too. So shush.
Maybe that was during your lag.
Maybe.
I just wanted to post Bob Ross because everyone here needs to see Bob Ross.
I mean, just looking at this picture makes me relaxed.
It does, right?
Just look at him, such an innocent man. He wouldn't do no harm to nobody.
Nobody at all. Which is
Yeah.
funny because he was actually a drill sergeant.
A surgeon.
He no drill sergeant. He would yell at people.
Dr- Oh, right.
But
Really?
yes, he was a drill sergeant for the U.S. Army, and after his term was up, he said he was tired of screaming at people, and that's when he started. I think that's when he started his whole painting career. Was soon after that as a way to relax, and
Oh.
that's when he kind of grew into this, cheerful, relaxed man. And the reason he has that afro is because he was broke at the time and could
Uh-huh.
not afford um, haircuts. So he just got a perm and let it grow out. All right, Beth, what is your other weird game? Let's find
We
out.
need to get weird games. I honestly need to watch some Bob Ross after this stream.
I
I
love
need to dye
Bob
my hair after
Ross.
this stream.
I love Bob Ross.
I need to dye my hair after this stream. I was supposed to dye my hair today. I don't know if I'm gonna have time for that.
All right.
Or dinosaur.
Nanosaur.
Dinosaur.
The fudge is this game?
Show us. Show us the weirdness.
I think this sums up the game right now. Hold on, Claus. Nanosaur.
What the hell is this?
It looks amazing, is what it is. It's a robot raptor with a machine gun laser arm, a jetpack.
You can tell me this sums up the game if it just confuses me.
No. Best game, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. You're a
Oh,
cyborg raptor with a laser cannon.
so unprofessional. He just sees a raptor with a gun and he's like, "Oh my god, 10 out of 10 would play again, even though you haven't played at all."
I don't care how bad this game is. You're a robo raptor.
Oh, it's a Roboraptor. So, oh my god.
It's like
What
it's
what
reverse Turok. It's reverse Turok.
I'd say it's reverse Dino Crisis.
I miss Dino Crisis, which is funny because I've never played it.
Uh, I I've never played it either. I've seen my mom play it on PlayStation 1.
It is part of his arm, yes, Rose. Um, Dino Crisis came out when I was getting over Resident Evil because I played what one,
Right.
two, three, and then Dino Crisis comes out. I'm like, I really don't want to do another game with tank controls. So I skipped out on it, but I watched a bunch of videos on the game. I was like, this game, I need to play it. But I always thought
I
Dino
mean,
Crisis was a cool
Crisis
idea.
1 was more of a horror game, so something more of a Resident Evil, but then Dino Crisis 2 was just more about the action and just shooting stuff.
Pretty
That
much,
would be
yeah.
something for you, definitely.
He's not a robot. He's from the future. So you're a
We never said
future.
he's a robot.
He's a. I
Oh,
never.
he's okay.
He's a futuristic cyborg raptor who goes from the future, who goes back in time. What's the purpose of him going back in time?
Who would want to go back to these times? There were no internet there. Who would want that?
Okay. If you guys talk, and Beth is talking about time travel, and Beth is talking about dinosaurs. then I have to bring up one of my favorite games of all time on a system that completely failed. Unlike
Which system?
Oh, the CDI. Unlike most
Oh,
people on the internet, I actually really like the Philips CDI.
I thought for a second that you were gonna talk about Soldier Boy.
No, 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 no. I haven't even watched that video yet. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you one of my favorite CDI games of all time, Zombie Dinos of the Planet Zeltoid.
Oh, looks cute. They're
So,
supposed to look cute.
yes. All right, so the game is you get this map. Let's see if I can actually find gameplay. Zombie Dinos. All right, so
To
basically,
be fair, the cover looks screwed up anyway because you have like in the background you have this cartoonish style, and then in the foreground you have like a 3D model. It
it's
doesn't make sense.
it's actually a puppet.
A puppet. Oh, it's even better. I mean,
Yeah.
even worse.
So okay, so the storyline goes that this planet Zeltoid,
Yes.
um, this is he's called the Brain Lord, and he goes back
Hmm.
in time to grab dinosaurs to weaponize them and then drop them off in the modern time period, because apparently that will kill all humans. Okay,
Okay.
so
I hear ya.
so what you got to
I
do
feel ya.
is you got to go through this map, and you have 24 hours to explore the map and determine what dinosaur you're hunting. So,
Okay.
like in this image right here, it's like that's a termite mound, and the little dinosaur puppet tells you that the termite mound has been crushed. And then he says, "What attributes of this dinosaur do you think crushed it? Was it weight, mobility, or armaments?" And then you choose something, and he goes, "Okay." And depending on what you choose, you get a better idea of the dinosaur you're hunting. And then eventually
Oh.
you will find the dinosaur,
I like
and
that idea.
when you find the dinosaur, let me pull up this one, there will be a brain attacking it.
What a brain!
Because that's how they,
Where did they came from?
from the planet Zeltoids.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so Beth explains in her game that Dino goes back in time to get dino eggs because they're extinct. So he goes back in time to. That's confusing, Beth.
Yes, they go.
I'm trying to figure out the
Wait,
logistics of
if they
that.
went extinct in their timeline, then how is he coming back? Wait, are we a human?
No,
Are we a
we're
dinosaur?
in her game we're a robot raptor. That just confused.
Oh, that the other game. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I
Well,
got confused.
so here's the best part about Zombie Dinos from Zeltoid is it's an educational game that doesn't let on that's an educational game because you're like, oh, we're trying to you're trying to solve a mystery. It's like, oh, is it a meat eater? Is it a plant eater? Is it a spiky dinosaur or is it a soft dinosaur? Is it a T Rex, a raptor? Is it big? Is it small? And it's
Yeah.
teaching you dinosaur facts. And when you go against the brain and the dino, you gotta save the dinosaur. It asks you a bunch of questions,
Oh,
like,
so it's like a test afterwards.
yeah. So it's like this dinosaur uses spikes on its back to cool itself off, and then it'll give you three choices, and you're like, oh, that's a Stegosaurus. And for
Mhm.
every question you get right, you damage the brain, and every question you get wrong, the brain takes over the dinosaur. And if you lose, the dinosaur gets sent to the future where it kills everybody.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Well, it's funny because they use stock footage of like disaster movies from the like 30s and 40s where it's black and white, and they just like Photoshop a dinosaur walking around as everyone's running. It's
Oh
so
no.
silly.
It really sounds silly.
I it,
Jesus. I think Claus mentioned Katamari Damacy. Have you heard of that?
God, yes, of course, of course, I own it. I own like four versions of it. It's the only reason I'm not pulling. I'll pull it
Yes.
up anyways. You know what? That is a very weird game. We're talking about weird games, not rare games. And you know what? There is Claus is right. There is nothing quite as weird and unique as Katamari Damacy.
There's nothing as weird and unique as Japan.
You know what? Katamari is practically Japan the game. Where's my? I
Yeah.
just saved the image. Where'd it go? There you are.
You know what? I have Japan the game. There is another. Have you heard of Chowiniki?
No. Oh, my
It was a
webcam got
game on
all messed up.
PlayStation 1. Let's talk about this one for a second, and then I'll send you maybe a link to the one I'm talking about.
Okie dokie. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know Katamari, you basically play this space prince who blew up the universe. So you have to kind of go back. Sorry about that. You have to go back to Earth and roll everything up.
And you have this. Your father is like this giant as king of universe or something.
Oh God, and he is.
And he has such a bulge. It's just.
Yeah, there's the king and queen right there. Katamari is definitely a unique game, and you basically just roll things up, and it's very Japanesey. The music is Japanesey, the graphics are Japanesey, and it's just it's the very whimsical humor of Japan. And I think I own the first 3 games of this, or first 2, and I'm totally buying this for the Switch. You know why? Because it is super fun and it's perfect to play on the go. I keep apologizing for my Windows making little notification sounds. All right, so what's this game? Let's end on your game, Claus.
I'm trying to look it up, but it's weird because it was just in Japan, so there's no English name for it. That's my problem with it. I think JonTron made a video about it. I think because JonTron also had a video on Japanese shoot 'em ups, and there was this one Japanese game called Talky. I don't know how to spell it.
It's the one where you play as almost naked men.
Yes.
Yes, it's on my PlayStation 4 wish list.
You can buy the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, if you go to the PlayStation 1 section of the classics, you can buy it on PlayStation 4.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Look it up.
So Beth just DM'd me this. In the distant year of 4122, a dinosaur species, the Nanosaurs, ruled the Earth. Their civilization originated from a group of human scientists who experimented with genetic engineering. Their experimentation led them to resurrect the extinct dinosaur species. However, their victory was short-lived, as the disastrous plague brought an end to their civilization itself. The few dinosaurs resurrected were lent an unusual amount of intelligence from their human creators, leaving them to expand on their growing civilization. However, as the Nanosaurs were the only species on Earth, inbreeding was the only possible choice of reproduction. This method largely affected the intelligence of various offspring, and slowly began to pose a threat to their once intelligent society. The Nanosaur government offers a quest that involves time traveling into the year 65 million BC, where the 5 eggs of ancient dinosaur species must be retrieved and placed in a time portal leading back to the present year. Their high-ranking agent, a brown Nanosaur, is chosen to participate in this mission. On the day of her mission, she is teleported to the past via a time machine in a Nanosaur laboratory. The Nanosaur arrives in a lush jungle with 20 minutes given to collect the eggs before the meteor that caused the initial extinction of the dinosaur race hits the Earth. After battling various Tyrannosaurus rexes, the Nanosaur enters a volcanic crater where she must cross several storm formations in a river of lava in order to retrieve the eggs. Following the completion of the Nanosaur's missions, the eggs are placed in nationwide laboratories where the scientists intend on breeding them for their own purposes. Several months following the event, the eggs finally hatch.
I love your dramatic reading.
Thank you.
Jesus. So much drama.
Katamari Damacy is a lot of fun, 100%, Beth. It is just joy feelings all around. And then Claus, you know what, Claus? I actually own this game. I don't know if I have access to it anymore, but um, I need to see. Oh God! So, if for those of you who have never played this, speaking of bulges, this was
Okay,
released.
you got my attention.
This was
Thank you.
released. This was released on the Wii as one of the WiiWare games, and it's Muscle March.
Mus- I've seen Muscle March. Oh my god, this is such an amazing for a Wii.
Yeah, so you play as these
Video
muscle
game.
bound men in thongs running through a
Yeah.
city, and you have to use the remote to strike poses to go through a
I
hole in the
think you're
wall.
supposed to like chase some guys because they stole something. I have no idea what they stole.
I think you're chasing
Maybe
you're chasing like a panda or something. Someone stole your food or your snack or your
or
muscle.
their G string. Maybe they stole their G string.
One of the above. So you have to strike poses with the remote and nunchuck as you're rushing through the city to fit in the holes through the buildings.
It's basically a hole in the wall Japanese version.
That's exactly what it is. It's hole in the wall. Here's a better image that shows you
Except
everything.
you're going near the wall, not the vice versa.
And
And you can look at all the sexy butts, like in the picture right here.
yeah, and there's muscle bound women and there's muscle men, or you could be a polar bear.
Polar bear.
Yeah,
I'm all for the polar bears.
polar bears.
I mean, it's just a furry. It's probably just a furry.
Oh,
It's
muscle
probably
march.
it's just probably some dude just stuffed himself into a polar bear suit.
That's exactly what I think it is. And yep, that is on the WiiWare. Can we get this anywhere else? Where to play Muscle March?
Just check the consoles it has been released.
It's only released on the WiiWare, from all I know.
Oh, sad.
That is sad. See, I can't. Well, hold on. I had to get a new Wii. If I log into my old account, I might be able to re-download Muscle March. But I have a video of my niece playing it somewhere on my
Mhm.
YouTubes. One of my
On
account
YouTube, on your tubes.
on my tubes.
Yeah.
Because I had her play Mario 3, and then after that, she wanted to play Muscle March, and you just see her doing this and crashing into videos. It's hilarious.
Did she enjoy it at least?
Oh, she loved it. She loved it.
I bet she
Oh, I
did.
do have the video.
I think I would enjoy it. It
Well,
looks hella fun.
hold on. Let me. Apparently, I put the video on private ages ago. I don't know why. So let's make that public now. There we go.
Let's bring back your old demons, Mazer.
Oh,
Are you
God.
ready for that?
All right. Let's see if I
Are
can.
you ready for it?
Hold on. Let me see. God, the quality of this video is horrible. That's when she's playing with her fish. Yeah, I'll post the
Is
link.
that a euphemism?
No. She had an aquarium game. I'll post a link in our discords. But where the hell did my? There it is. There it is. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up there.
Yeah, it's getting late. I need to get going. I need to eat something and go to sleep.
Sleepy
Work
sleeps,
tomorrow.
and I need to get food before work. I
I
got
need to bleach my
pizza.
hair.
Ooh, I got a pizza in the oven. Yay! Oh my chat. Oh no, it's just always black. That's why I never noticed it. Anyways, this was actually very successful. We got good audience participation over on Plex and YouTube and Twitch. We looked at Muscle March. We looked at Katamari, Pet Racer,
We
all
looked
sorts
at
of good.
all the weird shit.
You know what? There's so many weird games. I didn't even get like to the tip of the iceberg. So we got to keep going. We'll make another episode just like this down the line. Um, by the way, for everyone who follows my streams, FYI, we'll be watching the Mortal Kombat 11 reveal on Thursday, really early, 10 a.m. Pacific time. It'll be the Mortal Kombat 11 reveal with all the reactions. Please join us. And then tomorrow, I have no idea what I'm streaming. I have no damn clue. So I got to go through my library. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I am amazing. What?
You need to finish the goddamn doodle date with Claire.
Okay. We could do that tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, we'll play Doodle Date and get the good ending.
You know what? I have a great idea.
Tell me.
How about you're gonna play Doodle Date tomorrow, and I'm gonna join you on the stream, and I'm gonna talk for Claire.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Claire is going to voice the voice of Claire in Doodle Date.
Oh, wait a second. I can't do that. I have lectures tomorrow. Oh, shit.
Ah, no!
I have lectures until like 7:30 in the evening, and you stream at this point.
Now I'm sad. Well, we'll figure out something. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Beth, Jay, who else was over on Plex was joining us today? Vomit Cheyenne, Retro Gamer, and Vaser, and Jess. Oh, wait, that was from yesterday's stream. And then over on YouTube, we got Rose, Grave, Lady Wolf, and of course, Claus over on Twitch. Everyone, you have a wonderful night. I am Mazer, and I was joined today with Claire.
Bye, guys.
Bye.